one received a lot of donations. Most recently, you've seen the Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi Mpeana.
Correct.
20 mics.
Correct.
Now, church imeonekana ni it's one of those platforms where politicians exchange even jabs.
Yes.
I remember during the Limuru 3 conference on Sunday.
Yes.
Ilikuwa ni kama hapo sasa ndio diss tracks zinatokea. Kindly give us a tone, give a tone and a response to the same.
I would want to say this. The church, one, what is the goal of the church? The goal of the church is to address the spiritual matters of the members. So when you tend to give priority to political matters, when I'm saying priority, it's like when you always invite leaders to speak in church and collect their donations, you end up not attending to the primary goal of the church, which is to address the spiritual being. And so the church, one, should understand its role. The church role is to ensure that they address the spiritual matters of the human beings. And so them now bringing politicians on board, they compromise the primary goal of the church. And I would want to say this. The church, one, it has lost its voice because they were proactive in hosting UDA in churches. Like the church was a driving force of campaign.
Yes.
And President Ruto is a smart man. He understands the statistics that say that 80% of Kenya are Christians. So if you definitely get into that space, it's easy for you to be welcomed by people. And so he used the church as a vehicle to get into his place of leadership.
He is also a self-proclaimed Christian.
Oh, yes, he is. But the church, I would want to say this. The church should try as much as they can to ensure that they give preeminence to addressing the spiritual matters of the people who attend church, and not give a major audience to when it comes to political matters. Mi nikienda church nataka kufidiwa spiritually, sijaenda kusikia mambo ya politics. And so the church ikiendelea kupatia politicians more time. Let me tell you, I attended a friend's burial in an Anglican church. Mind you, it is in our diocese, Mount Kenya South. And I went for that burial service. The person who I did not wear my collar because I went there as a friend. I'm very contextual. I need to understand as who. So I went for that burial as my friend's friend. And so when I went to that burial service, the person who was leading service, it was during the campaign period. He gave the people who were campaigning more time to come and air their policies, the campaigning manifestos. And when it was the time for the family to read their tribute, the clergyman was telling these guys, you need to keep time. Man, harakisha. I almost stood up and almost called out that reverend, telling them, guy, tujakuja hapa. This was not a campaign. This is not a political forum. We had come here for a burial service. And so when you see the total inclination of this reverend to give more time to politicians and not give audience to the primary audience who are the family who are bereaved, then the church loses its credibility. Absolutely. And so the church, through those small things, it loses its credibility. And that's why they have been late to come and calling, to take their stance, because they had been compromised by giving more audience to politicians, collecting
and accepting
money,
donations, and quote-unquote donations. I think even when you say something like 20 million, why does Oscar Sudi have 20 million to donate? When you look at someone who's earning maybe 800,000 a month, how many months' salary is that to get to 20 million? And to donate it then? There's so many questions. But the fact that this trust has been broken, how do we then build it back? It seems maybe there now is a feeling within the church that we need to be on the right side of things. We need to take care of our people. How do we build the trust between people, especially young people, and the church?
It is as simple as kesho wakuje maandamano.
I love that.
It is as simple as that. See, the bishops, don't just speak in your pulpits. Let me make this clear. Show me one church that Christ built. Show me one. Church never built a brick and mortar church. There is no church in the world that is built in his name, that Christ built. None. Christ alikuwa kwa streets.
True.
Christ hakuna kanisa alikuwa na Christ alikuwa streets. Kanisa, as much
kanisa
as
ni watu.
Kanisa ni watu. Jesus hakuwa he was not in a confined space. Alikuwa kwa streets. And so I would want to call out these reverends. Muliongea jana kwa church. Sawa. kesho when the rubber meets the road, kweni hapa, wacheni kuongea hapo, it's a safe space to speak from. You're not really you're protected, you're confined. Kesho kuja hapa, tia gasi kirushwa, unasema go that 10.
Nivo.